All right, I'm in your form. And before I get started, I'll show you there are two toolbars. Here is your new toolbar with the button that will add the contents of the current form you have open to the database. And then I've also got the Forms toolbar showing because I may use some of these buttons as I show you things. And you can turn that on and off by simply right-clicking anywhere in the toolbar area and checking or clearing the forms. There it is. So the first thing, notice there's a padlock on here for locking and unlocking the form, which you may already know all this. But anyhow, we want the form unlocked to work on it, but locked to type in it to see how it's going to behave. I'm going to lock it for a second. And I'm turning Show Hide on because I want to be able to see all the non-printing characters, like where we've pressed Enter, or here you can see the tabs. The little arrows indicate tabs. And this is the first thing I was going to show you with these tabs. See, somebody just tabbed over using the default tab stops till this lined up. So that's fine. You know, with the show hide off, it looks all lovely until somebody starts typing their name in here. And depending on the length of their name, they may end up pushing the text further, or if they have a short name, pulling it back. So rather than doing that, we just want one tab stop. So how would we do that? Well, let me unlock the form so I can work in something other than just these fields. When it's locked, I can only type in the fields. Okay, so I'm going to unlock that. And the little eraser resets all the fields to get rid of anything I typed in. Okay, I'm just going to do all of these at once. Just going to grab them, and I'm just going to set a tab stop on the ruler. See these little faint gray lines at the bottom of the ruler, right? Every half inch. Those are the default tab stops. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to set an actual tab stop by clicking on the ruler right here where you apparently want it to be. Now, everything kind of went haywire because somebody typed all these extra tabs in here, but that's okay. I will just press delete to get rid of the extra tab stops. Those little black dots that I just deleted are spaces, by the way. Okay, so you can see now I just have one tab between each of these. So that was the first thing I wanted to show you. The next thing I want to show you is how do we underline a field and have it be on a line. Now up here somebody actually did it, I believe, by setting borders. Yep, see, when I turned the border off, they went away. Let me undo that to get it back the way we had it. There's undo. So that's one way you can do it. Excuse me. I could come to this paragraph and go to the borders button on the toolbar and just pick a bottom border. Now that stretches all the way across, so if I don't want to go all the way across, I could grab the right margin and drag it back. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it, let me turn that off and show you, is to underline it. And then set a tab stop. Let me put this back where it was. Set a tab stop where you want the line to end. Notice, by the way, when I do this, my cursor was in the paragraph where I wanted that tab stop to be set, because tabs are a type of paragraph formatting and they just get stored in the paragraph where you're typing. Now when I press tab, it just extends the line out that far. So you could do it either way. It looks, I can't tell if the underlining is, it's probably about the same, but for consistency's sake, it'd probably be best, let me get rid of the underlining. It'd probably just be best for you guys to use the border. Just do it the same way for everything. And I think you want it about that long. Now I can just tell, by the way, on these right here that somebody typed the underscore a bunch of times. Well, that's not really going to work because once again, when you come type in this field, it's just going to push that line. So let's get rid of this. Control delete, by the way. That's how I did that. And let's, we'll do the border here too. And just drag this to match. So that's how you can do that. Now with my show hide on, by the way, I see there's a bunch of extra tabs and spaces here. Not sure what was going on there. but I would just get rid of those. They don't belong there. Speaking of tabs, I have flashed forward down here towards the bottom of your form, and somebody wanted it looks like somebody wanted what's called a dot leader here, although it looks like they just typed a bunch of periods. Problem with that is, once again, as you type over here, it's going to push all this and things won't line up the way you want necessarily. So what you want instead, whoa, hello, push that back down, is an actual dot leader tab, and I'll show you how to do that. For that, you can't just click on the ruler because you can't tell it I want a dot leader. So you have to go into Format Tabs, and in here you tell it where you want it to stop. Let's say you wanted this date to start over here at 5 inches. So I would put in a 5, well, that was an F, a 5 for 5 inches. This is going to be, well, you could do a left or right tab. Let's say I wanted the end of the date here to be at 6 inches instead. So that would be a right tab. So I would say 6 inches, and I want it to be a right tab, and I want it to have a dot leader, and I want to set that, and I want to say OK. Now, if I look at this paragraph there up on the ruler, I can see the backwards L is the right tab. And if I get in front of the word date and press tab, there's my dot leader. Now, if you decide you want to move that, all you need to do is click in the paragraph so that the little L shows up and just drag it wherever you want that to end. So entirely up to you. I'll leave that up to you where you ultimately want to put that. The next thing I want to talk to you about were these table cells here that you've put a field in. First, I want to point out that you're saying to them, please write no more than 200 words, and you've done that for a few of these different tables, told them how many words to limit it to. However, when I double click this field to see its properties, you've limited the length to 200. That's 200 characters, not 200 words. So just be aware of that. You either want to crank this up quite a bit or say 200 characters, just to make it consistent. The other thing I wanted to point out was this is a table cell, and I know that because I see this little plus in the upper left when I put my mouse over it, and also this little sunshine looking symbol out to the right is an indicate. It tells me it's a table. That's an end of table row marker that I only see when show hides on. So I knew it was a table, not say a text box or frame. So you've put these extra hard returns in here in order to push it down to make it thicker. But what you don't want to do that, because when they start typing, then it's going to just push it further and further, and it's going to get bigger and bigger, and there will always be that big gap after whatever they type. So rather, you can just come in here, don't even need that hard return actually, and see when I put my mouse over the bottom of this cell, I can click and drag down. The double-sided arrow always tells you in any Windows program that you're about to change the size of something. So you can just click and drag to adjust that. So I would do that for all your tables if I was you. The other thing I noticed that's a little odd in this document is there are not a bunch, but there are a couple section breaks here. And I'm not sure why. I don't know. They don't make sense usually to me. Usually a section break is used because you want to change the header and footer, or you want to change anything you would find under File, Page Setup. So that's your margins, your paper trays that it's pulling from, the size of the paper, is it portrait or landscape, that kind of thing, and the headers and footers. So if you're not doing that here, there's no reason to have a section break. Let me see what happens if I delete it. You can do Control Enter on the keyboard to do a page break, would make more sense. I'm going to undo that and put it back because I don't know if there actually was a reason that was there or not. And then the last thing, I notice here where you have the income, you have a subtotal. And I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but you can go into a subtotal field and have it automatically total. See how it says here when I double clicked it, it's a number field? You could make it what's called a calculation field, and then all these others, I can take their names, and what am I going to do here? I don't want to have to try to retype these, so I will just open another document in Word. Oh, I have to cancel out of here. Let me just open a blank document for a minute. And so I've got two documents open now. Let me go back to your form. Okay, so what I'm going to do, open this, grab its name, because that's going to go in our calculation, and tell us to calculate on exit. And then let me go to my other little thing. I just want to paste this in here so that I don't forget it, and type the plus sign, get the next one, grab its name, tell it to calculate on exit. These are all numbers, that's good. Okay, I went in and I just double clicked each of them and set them all to calculate, and I notice it's just print 1 underscore income 1 through 5, so I actually don't really need to copy and paste them. So I'm going to come down here. This is our calculation field because I told it that, and see how it has an equal sign now? So I know it's print income 1 plus, oh, I need the 1, print income 2 plus print income 3 plus print income 4 plus print income 5. Make sure I did that right. All right, now what happens? Oh, look, they're already set to the English pound. So now I'm going to lock the form for a minute just so it acts like a form and show you what happens. If I'm here and I say, let's say, I don't know, 50, when I tab out of here to move on, it instantly adds it up. And then I'll do another 25, and now let's do 100. And you can see, oh, I put the 100 in the wrong place, 100. You can see it keeps going. Very cool. Now I'm going to unlock the form and reset our fields because we don't want that in our final form. Okay, I'm going to turn show hide off, and then we're done.